Greetings, my remote botanists. Yesterday we took a look at the stages of the life cycle of a plant, and we also looked at the parts of a seed. Today we're going to continue that study, and we're going to look at the parts of a plant, and we're going to take a closer look at what plants need. Now, this is going to be very easy for so many of us because we really have that background knowledge. How do I know that, you might ask? Well, I've seen lots of pictures of you throughout this remote learning process. Many of you making a garden or putting out plants around a flagpole, or I saw Adam preparing his strawberry raised beds. So you have the actual life experience of dealing with plants and seeds already. So we'll go ahead and get started with the parts of a plant. Let's go back. So some of the vocabulary that we'll encounter through this would be roots, and that, as you know, would be the part of a plant that absorbs or soaks up water and minerals from the soil. Stem, as you know, is the part of the plant that gives support for and carries water, minerals, and food throughout the plant. Leaves, the part of the plant that absorbs sunlight and makes food for the plant. Flower, the part of a plant that makes seeds, which continues the life cycle or the circle story. Oh, here's another fun word, chlorophyll. That is the green pigment found in a plant's leaves, and it helps to make the plant food. And we'll learn a lot about that coming up. Each part of the plant has a job to do, and each job equally important. The job of the roots is to absorb water and minerals from the soil. Tiny root hairs act as straws to help absorb and store extra minerals and moisture for the plant. The roots help to anchor, or help it to stay put, anchor the plant into the soil and help to transport nutrients to the stem. Oh, there's that Greek root trans. Yes, we've talked about that. Any word that has that word port trans, you remember, means across. The taproot is the most common root we eat. Examples of edible taproots are carrots, beets, radishes, and turnips. Which of any of those do you eat? The plant's stem has more than one job. One of its jobs is to support the plant. The stem also acts as a pipe that carries water and nutrients from the roots to the leaves and other parts of the plant. We eat the stems of many plants, like celery, broccoli, asparagus, rhubarb, and bok choy. Are there any of those that you've never eaten? I know there's one I've never eaten. I've never had bok choy. The role, or the part that it plays, the role of the leaves is to make food for the plant. The leaves contain a green pigment called chlorophyll. The chlorophyll helps to capture energy from the sun and convert water and carbon dioxide into plant food and oxygen. This process, called photosynthesis, occurs inside the leaves of a plant. And there is the Greek root photo, which many believe the Greek root photo means picture, but actually not. The root photo means light. The job of the flower is to attract pollinating insects. And boy, we had old busy Ms. Lizzie yesterday, and she's a fine example of a pollinating insect, a bee. And so the flower produces pollen and seeds so that the plant can reproduce and continue the life cycle. So yes, insects are very, very important, a very important part of a plant life cycle. Without them, the cycle cannot continue. The pollen can be found inside the flower. Bright colored petals are a type of leaf that protect the inner parts of the flower. These brightly colored petals attract insects to help pollinate the flower. Parts of a plant. The flower makes the seeds to continue the life cycle. The leaves absorb sunlight and carbon dioxide to make food for the plant. The stem supports the plant. It carries water, minerals, and food throughout the plant. So remember, it has two important jobs. The roots act as an anchor for the plant, and they also absorb water and minerals from the soil. And so I have included today something that you can download where you can label the parts of a plant. And also there is a section where you can review true or false statements. And there are closed sentences where you can choose 3 of those very botanist-sounding words to fill in the blank. Oh, a train is going to disrupt part of our lesson. That's just part of living where I live. And so that moves us to part 2 of today's lesson. As promised, part 2 is, what do plants need to grow? Now I think there are 3 that are going to be very easy for you to know. But there might be one that might surprise you. Think. What are the 3 that are very easy that you know off? Bam! I know that plants need these. Let's see if you're right. All right, some of the vocabulary that we'll encounter in our needs portion of today's lesson is needs. Those are the elements required for a living thing to develop and grow. Soil would be the upper layer of earth in which plants grow. Nutrients, a substance that provides nourishment needed for growth. Circulation is the movement around something. Energy is the power gotten from another source, such as the sun. Plants are living organisms. Just like humans, plants need certain elements to develop, reproduce, and survive. Without these basic needs, a plant cannot grow, produce seeds, or continue its life cycle. Oh, I'll bet you knew this one. Plants need soil. Many of the nutrients a plant needs to grow are found in the soil. Minerals such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are important nutrients taken from the soil through a plant's roots. Plants need water. I'll bet you all thought of that one, didn't you? Plants, like all living things, need water to survive. Plants use water to help them move nutrients throughout the plant. Plants also use water as well as sunlight to make their own food. More to come on that. Plants need sunlight. Plants need energy from the sun to make food. Without sunlight, plants cannot produce chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is a key element in the process of photosynthesis, a process by which a plant makes its own food. There's that Greek root photo again. What does the root photo mean? That's right, light. Now here's the one that may have gotten some of you in the trick bag. Plants need room to grow. That's right, they need room. Plants need space so leaves, stems, and roots can expand as they grow. Overcrowded plants are less likely to gather enough sun to make the food they need. Crowded roots result in smaller plants. Without proper air, circulation, and enough space to grow, plants can become diseased. So the next time parents ask you to go out in that garden and pull weeds or get the garden hoe and hoe up weeds, they are reminding you of one of those basic needs that a plant has to have. They're asking you to get rid of the weeds to give the plants in your garden the room or space to grow, because that is most definitely a basic need. So, I hope you'll join me again tomorrow for more information on our study of plants, my remote botanist. Until then, take care.